Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later as now it's time for today's Toy of the Week video. So this is entry number 3, coming on the back of Crossblades last week, and I'm still really happy with the response to these so far. So a big thank you to everyone who continues to tune in just to listen to me ramble about robots. Now I hope you're all continuing to keep safe. We're still very much in lockdown here at the moment, and it's got to the point of starting to wonder what to do about a haircut. Should I attempt it myself, or should I ask my wife to kindly have a bash at some point? And really, that gives you some idea of the levels of excitement going on around here currently. So picking up from last time, I had invited you to ask me some more questions on things like me or my collection, and I had a couple of really interesting ones over the last week or so. And one that caught my eye was asking how I first got into robot photography, which I guess is something that happened by accident. I think the first toy that I shared a picture of was Mastermind Creations Feral Rex, big sort of third-party Predaking, which I just assembled for the first time and posted it on TFW 2005. Now that was just a simple phone capture though, so after that I thought it would be fun to take a couple of photos with different toys with my DSLR camera. I already had quite a bit of experience shooting people and landscape photography, but toys turned out to be quite a different subject. They started out as a very simple shots around my house, but evolved over time from there. Anyway, the robot photos continued until Dame Shock, who I'm sure everybody knows, suggested that I should start a Facebook page, and then that eventually became a Twitter feed, and then a blog, and then an Instagram, and now a YouTube, and suddenly this is my life now. Now, another question I got asked was about toys I don't like, because evidently I have a bit of a reputation for focusing on the stuff that I actually enjoy. Silly me. But yes, there are plenty of toys that I'm not so keen on. And in fact, there are toys that I've reviewed and marked them really poorly. I think the most recent one was Masterpiece MP45 Bumblebee, which I think was, a bit of a mixed bag, but certainly mine was not very good quality. I think probably the worst toy I've ever had in my possession was actually a third-party thing. It was called Ace Collectibles Tumbler, which was a third-party cliff jumper, and that was just not great in design, really poorly executed in terms of quality, and just, to be honest, a bit of a shambles. Sorry if you like that toy, but no, not for me. Anyway, what are we banging on about me for when we should be talking about our Toy of the Week? Now, I know we've already done a couple of G1 toys, and I promise these won't all be G1, but I am enjoying the chance to focus on that bit of the franchise right now and some of the more unusual aspects. But, maybe I'll mix it up at some point, and who knows, maybe we'll do some Generation 2 or something. But in the meantime, here is this week's focus, and it's G1 Snapdragon. Snapdragon was first released in 1987, alongside the first wave of Headmasters and Target Masters. Unlike standard Headmasters, Snapdragon is one of 2 Headmaster Horicons, who have the ability to transform into 3 modes. He's one half of a double act with Apeface, who features similar gimmicks and design. The 2 of them are essentially inseparable in the minds of a lot of fans. Snapdragon's robot mode is really lovely, boasting the now classic Decepticon palette of purple, black and teal, and rocking a ridiculously awesome face sculpt. He's also surprisingly articulated for the time, with the transformation allowing a lot of leg and arm movement that most G1 toys can't claim. The jet mode is also really quite something, looking exceptionally tidy and dynamic, and making use of the twin blasters from the robot mode. Of course, being a Headmaster, the main gimmick on offer here is that the head can transform into a mini Nebulon partner, in this case named Crunk. Crunk is a cute little chap, although he's positively rocking those studded teeth on both his arms and legs there. There's even a little cockpit in the jet mode for Crunk to chill out in, making for some all-round great play value on this toy. But wait, there's more! As I mentioned, Snapdragon can also transform into a third mode, which in this case is a rather awesome looking dragon form. Well, at least I think it's a dragon. The instructions for the toy clearly refer to it as a dinosaur, and the tech spec calls it a reptile, so who knows? Dragonatile maybe? Rapaganosaur? I don't know. Either way, the really cool thing about this design is that Crunk also becomes the beast mode head, making this Horicon a fully integrated triple changer and Headmaster in every sense. Snapdragon's box art is a real treat too, with some lovely crisp clean lines, and showing off that dragon mode to its finest. Snapdragon has featured in a few different fictional portrayals during Generation 1, with his most notable role being during the Japanese series The Headmasters, which carries on an alternate storyline at the end of Season 3 of the Sunbow cartoon. He and Apeface first appear when Galvatron recruits them into the Decepticon ranks after a period of them being banished by the Autobots. They initially spar with the other Decepticon headmasters and prove to be significantly more powerful before they all end up working together pretty quickly. Snapdragon and Apeface continue to be favoured warriors of Galvatron and do pop up again in a few more notable appearances, but by the end of the show they're pretty much just rank and file characters. Of course, they both also feature as part of a new wave of characters in the American cartoon's final adventure, The Rebirth, which depicts how they first meet the Nebulons who will become their partners. Snapdragon doesn't have much of a role here and is mostly used to bolster the Decepticon ranks, with perhaps his most memorable moment being this. Snapdragon's time in the Marvel comic was similarly without note, as he was little more than a background soldier for much of the run, and especially so when he first crops up in the 4-part Headmaster miniseries as one of Scorponok's troops. He does get a bit more to do in the UK exclusive material shortly after this, proving a notable threat for the Autobot headmasters on more than a couple of occasions. We next see him and Apeface being tormented briefly by Blaster, before he soon disappears into the background again. He's later recalled to Cybertron alongside all of the other Transformers to battle Unicron, and then falls under Bludgeon's command, which takes him to the planet Clo in the Generation 1 run's final ever issue. Unfortunately, Blaster gets the drop on him yet again, and that seems to be the end of him. Snapdragon is notable for only having had one official toy of the character ever released since he first appeared 33 years ago, although that's finally coming to an end as an updated version is now being released this September as part of the Generations line, which looks to recreate the original design to a T. There has been at least one unofficial attempt to bring the character to life though, with the ridiculously named KFC toys bringing us their Kingzilla design a few years back. Now I really like this toy a lot myself, although I do wish they hadn't released it in that weird dark grey colour, but hey. So there's really just a lot to love with this toy overall. I mean, I know that some people think of 1984 or 85 or 86 as some of the best years of Transformers, but to be honest, I'd take the 87 toys as some of my personal favourites. I mean, for one thing, I'm a huge fan of the Headmaster gimmick. It brings tons of play value and adds a bit of imagination as well. But then the design of this guy is just so chunky and fun, and he's really nicely made in a way that you have to handle the earlier stuff, kind of with kid gloves. He's also really well thought through. I think the fact that the Headmaster can become the Dragonhead as well, but then also incorporate into the vehicle mode as the pilot is just great. And I do think that the way the head attaches is just super cool, I have to say. And I've always really liked that little tech spec thing that you get on these guys as well. And apparently Snapdragon is quite intelligent, so who knew? So overall, top marks from me on this guy. I love the copy I had of him as a kid, but I've since upgraded and couldn't be happier with the version I now have in my collection. Top drawer. So there you go, that's Snapdragon, who is our new Toy of the Week. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you're enjoying the new channel. If you haven't yet, please do go ahead and subscribe, which I'm sure you've done already. If you want to send me any more questions about me or my collection before next time, then I'll try and cover those off in the next video. Quick final shout out to everyone who already supports me on Patreon. Details are coming up at the end of the video if you'd like to do the same. Of course, it's really appreciated. That's it from me, so enjoy the rest of your day. TTFN.